Okay, so today we'll discuss the lab steps how we can configure Azure AVD with the Entra ID and FSLogix. Normally we can have Active Directory also hybrid kind of environment also we can have, but in our environment we have Azure AVD with Entra ID. Okay, and we need to use for the storage we are using Azure File Shares we are using with the Samba kind of share we are going to connect. Okay, saying that we'll try to set up even with the Active Directory also. We'll try to set up, then we can apply the policies, all those from the administrative templates we can configure. But if we are using this method, we need to enforce the policies either from the Intune we can apply or manually through the registry settings we need to apply those like FSLogix settings we need to apply. Then here in order to configure those Azure AVD, so what are the prerequisites we required is we required Azure subscription. Okay, so then we required Azure subscription, we required Entra ID. Already we have set up Entra ID tenant also. Then on that mission, like local administrative rights on the Windows devices, where we are installing AVD, for that we required Windows permissions. Then like in the Azure, we need the storage accounts, file shares, AVD host pools. We should have the permissions to create. Then like from the AVD host pools or session host to Azure files also we require the connection, and we are going to use either Windows 10, Windows 11, either single or multi-session OS, or and here we have this is the 2004 or 25, 25 I think is the latest version of FSLogix we have. The 2004 is the version of,
Server version,
no, FSLogix version that is.
if it's logic. Okay.
Okay, so minimum we should have 2004, but anyhow the latest version we have is 25 around we have. Okay, so that we can download. Then first what we need to create is we need to create a Azure storage account. So we need to create the storage account, and to that Entra ID also, that users also we should give the permissions, and that file mount we need to configure into our on premises. We need to create those file mount also. Then in the storage account, what we are doing, so we are creating a storage account. Okay, so then performance, better to choose the premium for the production. Better to choose the premium for the production. Better to choose. Then we need to choose the file shares, and redundancy maybe GRS or LRS. All these also we need to set up. Okay, so for the production, better to keep that in the multiple geographical locations. Also, we are going to keep it. Then, like we can retrieve the access keys, all those, all the for the security we are going to use that access keys we are going to configure. After this, we have just created the storage account. Now we need to create a file share. Okay, so we need to create the file share. We can give maybe FSLogix some name. We can give premium, and we are going to create that. Okay, then we need to create a host pool. In the host pool also, what we can do is first we can create a we can create a VM. On that VM, we can convert into our own image also. Means we are making that as a golden template like that. We will create our own image, and in that image itself, before itself, we can configure the in that image itself before we can configure our FS logic. Okay, so then here we need to in this lab they set up with like a host pool, all these they have created, but they're installing FSLogix. Okay, so then in the FSLogix, like we need to say create like a enabled should be. So what are the registry settings we need to keep?
The value should be one.
Yeah, enabled should be one, and before that, on that VM, what we need to do is that NTFS also we need to share that file share we have, right? So here
Correct.
we given the VHV, like profiles is the name of the file share. Okay, then the system account access. Okay, these all like we need to set up, and once we set up that, okay, so now we need to mount it, that file share we need to mount. Okay, then given some PowerShell command. Then for this we need to provide Entra ID also for the AVD access. Okay, session host, we need to join that Entra ID we need to manage. Okay, then Intune settings also will discuss. After that we need to connect to that AVD. In that we need to connect to that AVD we need to set up.
So this is the process for the
Yeah,
AVD,
this is
not
the
on premises, right?
this is the process. Yeah,
For AVD, not on premise.
not on premises.
Okay.
So because we are creating that resources on Entra ID, we are creating those.
Cool.
So we are creating that entries on the Entra ID. We are creating those.
Okay.
One second, I think she shared the credentials. Okay, so here I'm able to. Oh, 1 second. I'll get that. Risha, can you tell me your Gmail ID? Yeah, here I'm able to log in. So first I'll create a storage account. Second. If we have is Windows 11 we have.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, Sirish.
So sorry. Yeah, all the session hosts are deleted, sir.
Deleted these are.
Yeah.
Then I'll delete this host pool.
Sure, sure, sir. Okay.
So just creating one user. Now I'll try to delete this. Meanwhile, we'll create a storage account. I'm using the same resource group, AVD, RG I'm using. So it should be unique name we required. I given the name as FSLogix. Is to S. And primary service directly we can use for the files itself we are going to use. And better to choose premium, and depends upon our redundancy. Better to go for where we need to keep our. As of now, for testing purpose, we are using LRS. Then I'm creating this. So then we created the storage account. Then in the data storage, we need to add the file shares also. So we need to add a file share. I'll give FSLogix. So backup all those, and SMB we are using. I'm going to create this.
What's the difference between SMB and NFS there?
SMB is like a Windows base. like we have the NFS, like on the Linux, those we can mount it using the NFS file shares. Mostly in the Windows file servers are using SMB protocol.
Okay.
So SMB is the Samba protocol, whereas the Windows file shares, all those will support SMB it is going to support. Whereas if you want to use like Linux, those file shares, NAS, those all will use the NFS protocol. Those are the different protocols we are going to use. Network file system and SMB is a server message block. Okay, but for the Windows, it's SMB we are going to use. Whereas NFS performance wise, all those it's good. But then here we configured this file share. All this data, like whatever we created in the FSLogix, the expectation is it should come to file share. Then we need to give the permissions also, for this. We need to give the permissions to whom we need to give the access and networking also. As of now, we are giving the networking, but in the production, if that file shares may have the private subnet, we may have that also. We need to provide those the permissions, networking, all those also we need to design that access also. We need to provide. Okay, so then like once we create the file share. We need to generate the access key. As of now, we are going to authenticate to this using the key we are going to authenticate. Okay, so then here we have this key. Uh, so this is the access key we have. Using that key, we are going to authenticate. Okay, then Android. This we need to configure on our Azure AVD mission, because we need to share that as the mounting as the Z drive. We need to mount it as the Z drive. We need to pass it. We'll try to set up this on our on that mission where we want to use the Azure AVD. On that file share also, we need to give the full admin permissions. We need to set up on that also. We need to set up the full permissions. Then I'll use one Windows 11 mission or Windows Server will use. Yeah.
Sir, before doing this, do we need to enable Microsoft Entra ID?
Here we are using this access key we are using for the authentication
Okay,
purpose.
okay,
Okay, say the Entra ID at the tenant level that we need to enable, but I have enabled that access key. We are using this even in this connection also. This access key we are authenticating.
okay,
So, but not recommended in the production environments, because we shouldn't hard code like this. Okay, first
okay,
for
sir.
the testing purpose, it's fine.
Sure.
So that's we need to enable that enter ID, or maybe AD itself will use the large scale. Will synchronize that AD, and with
AD,
the
sir.
Kerberos itself, we are going to authenticate.
Okay.
Self-selected zone we have chosen. So this will convert into, but in this we don't get the AVD, right? AVD agent we don't get. So we'll try to install setup with the tomorrow with the AVD. I'll try to set up this, because here if you use this on that agent, we don't get if you use this. So default networking I'm using. Zone 2 will choose here. Okay, here we have this FSLogix. Hello. Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir.
Here we are installing all these profile controller, all these components we are installing, and after this restart is required. Okay, so we need to restart this server also. Now it is mounted to the jet drive. So with the file share, we need to give the full permissions. That map drive is not. So then, like, we'll check that map drive. We need to get that map drive in the Z drive. Then in that Z drive also we need to give the full admin, like full permissions we need to give for to all the users we need to give that full permissions. Then we need to apply some of the FSLogix registry settings we need to apply. So it depends upon the OS, like multi-session OS or Windows 11, Windows 10. We will have the different registry settings, and those registry settings we need to apply. Okay, so now in this we need to set up the registry settings. Here in this HK local mission software, FSLogix, in the FSLogix profiles, we need to add this entries. We need to add HK local mission. We need to add these following registry settings. Our VHD location is. So where is our VHD location? Our VHD location we need to give. Okay, so this is our then these registry settings we need to apply. Once we create these registry settings, we need to take that image. So that image we need to create that image. After that, from that image we need to create the AVD desktops. So after that, we need to create an AVD mission. Then on that AVD mission, we need to set up. But here this Azure AD joined. These also we need to skip. Instead of that, we need to give one for the system account. We need to give the permissions. So in our scenario, we don't have Azure AD Kerberos. We don't have. So that is the purpose we need to use for the system account. We need to give the permissions, those registry settings. So at least these two we can enable. So one is but by default we don't get this. Here we got the FSLogix. Say here we need to set up depends upon our requirement. What are the values you want? Those all in the profiles we need to enable should be one. We need to enable, and this VHD location path we need to set up. And once we set up this, we need to convert this into the image. Okay, so now here need to go to that VM. So in this VM, we need to go for the capture. We need to go for the capture that VM. We need to convert this into the image. We need to convert from this image. We need to create the AVD. AVD we need to create from this captured image. We need to create the AVD. We need to set up. Then on that we are going to connect to that session host with that users. Automatically that AVD we need to set. Okay, so this we'll do in the tomorrow session. I'll set up most of the some issues we are getting. These all I'll solve today. Tomorrow we'll connect to this. Okay, so these registry settings we need to apply. but that file share we are not getting because that need to be displayed in the Z drive. And in that also we need to give the permissions for everyone. We need to give the permissions. With that we need to configure these registry settings. Then need to generalize that image as the golden template. From that we need to create the AVD host pools and session host. Then once the user connect to that, like user need to get that FSLogix profile need to be stored. So that will do in that tomorrow session will perform.
Okay, sir. You can stop the recording. I need to ask one query, sir.
Sure, sure.